Prime Minister and the Home Secretary today unveil plans to remove and ban asylum seekers from re-entry to the UK if they arrive through unauthorised means. Only those who come directly by air from their own country will have a legitimate claim to asylum.
Well, let's crunch the numbers. The numbers of people making this crossing of the Channel in small boats is going up and up and up. It's risen dramatically from just under 300 in 2018 to, as we know, almost 46,000 last year. And the numbers from the new year to now are well up on the same period last year. Big question is, would a lifetime ban on reapplying for entry to the UK actually stop it happening and solve the migrant crisis?
Well, joining us now, Kolbassia Haoussou, who came here as a refugee from Chad, escaping persecution. He says Rishi Sunak's plans are damaging and dangerous. And also joining us, Enas Daeki, who is a refugee from Libya. Her family granted asylum after fleeing. She says banning the boats will help save lives. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Enas,
Yes.
Some people might think a surprise that somebody who has been granted asylum would back plans to stop some people ever being granted asylum and coming back to the UK if they're refused the first time.
Yes. My point, Susanna, what I think, first of all, I stand for refugees, especially women like me. I'm a refugee. I experience and I know how vulnerable it is for you to be in that position. Now, a plan like this might not stop refugees coming, but also it can help stopping people, smuggling people, that their point, the only thing that they care about is not the life of these people. They care about making money. And they will happily risk the life of these people, and vulnerable women and children will be used and abused during this process.
But you see it as something other than just a safety issue. I mean, for example, what's your feeling about people who come here from, for example, Albania, that have actually no asylum issues at all? They're coming here either to try and get work or to go on to benefits in this country. What's your feeling about people like that?
So what do I feel? First of all, I just want to say Albania, I've been there. I love it, and I've got a lot of Albanian friends. I love the country. Now, there's a massive difference between Libya and Albania. Right? Albania looks nothing like Libya. It's safe to be there. Now, these are people that economic immigrants. It's a massive difference than people flying or running away from a war zone country. So that's the problem, is there is an abuse of the system and generosity of this country that people will use it, and it will create a bad listening for people that's in need of protection. And that's the cost. OK,
Kolbassia, you're a refugee from Chad. You're a co-founder of an anti-torture network, Survivors Speak Out. Enas says this is largely about safety, and this is going to stop the cruel people traffickers who trade in people's misery.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for having me. I think one thing that I agree with Enas about what she said, that it's not about people's life when, smugglers. And also I would say that also the bill is not about people's life, because the bill is not going to be stopping people crossing over. What it's going to do is only creating more challenging for people to cross over. I'm going to say one thing that's really important for us to understand, because I've been in that position. When you are tortured, for example, I'm a torture survivor. When you're tortured, when you're traumatized, your brain sees everything as a challenge, as a danger. And when you see as a danger, you don't see any obstacle. Because what your brain will say to you is flee. You are in a fleeing mode at any level. And everything that reminds you about that, you just want to flee. And when you flee, crossing channel is not an obstacle, because what you're trying to do is save your life.
So rather than stopping people, if you're suffering torture in the country you're trying to flee, you're not looking at the detail of a new law which says you'll never be allowed back. You're literally just fleeing for your life, and you just take your chances with what happens to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But do you accept the government's point of view, and that of many people watching this programme this morning, that upwards of 50,000 people arriving here across the channel in these small boats is something we have to do something about. We have to face up to it and deal with it. And you don't agree with the method, but do you agree with that principle?
Yeah, absolutely agree with the principle. I think at Freedom from Torture, we've seen a lot of torture survivors, people that fleeing and coming. And the thing that, people, saying to us and the service that we provided to correct, the trauma is this. The system, need to be looked into it. The system need to be improved. The Home Office need to be supported so that they look into people cases. We look at the case by cases. And there's some people that we can grant protection. There's some people that won't grant their protection. And one thing that I really want to say that's really important. I mean, Enas and myself, we're sitting in this, platform to talking to you because of the immigration.
Yeah.
We were granted immigration. I'm very grateful for that. We were granted immigration. And the way that we come here is different. I came the same way that quite a lot of people come in here. And if there's a complete blank, right, refusal of people to get here, I'm not gonna get the protection that I got.
Your point,
Yes.
to finish with you, do you think he's got a point when he says that people who are genuinely fleeing torture and oppression won't give a monkey's about this new legislation? They'll still try and come.
That's right, but they are coming by boats from France. France is already a safe country. So why would you risk your life coming from a safe country? You're flying from war, you want protection. I will happily stay wherever it's safe. So why would I still take
Another
extra risk and then come to this country?
OK.
That's the
Enas,
point.
Kolbassia, we have to leave it there. We really appreciate the experience
Thank
you
you.
both bring
Thank you.
to this very, very difficult and sensitive issue. Thank you. And we await the actual details of that legislation a little bit later on. You've been voting in our Twitter poll asking whether a lifetime ban will solve the immigration crisis. Only 34% of you think this is the answer. 66% say it won't solve the crisis that is currently happening.
But as you say, we'll hear more detail a bit later in the Commons, won't we, when it's presented for MPs.